coffee brewing as the sun peeks through the haze. And birds are chirping, serenading morning's praise. Front porch creaks as dreams fade away. America's awakened to a brand new day. Old vinyl spinning a sweet old tune. Day starts dancing under a sleepy moon. Loose print smudges on fingers of grace. America's awakened at her own steady pace. Sips of sunshine in a coffee cup. Simple moments lifting spirits up. From the mountains to the sandy shore. Morning in America, want just a little more. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Old vinyl spinning a sweet old tune. Day starts dancing under a sleepy moon. Newsprint smudges on fingers of grace. America's awakened at her own steady pace. Sips of sunshine in a coffee cup. Simple moments lifting spirits up. From the mountains to the sandy shore. Morning in America, want just a little more. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Tractors rumble, fields coming alive. Big wheels turning where hopes and dreams strive. Laughter echoes down the old dirt road. America's awakened to lighten her load. America's awakened to lighten her load.
Good morning, good morning. I hope you're all having a really good morning where you are. Oh, there we go. I've been having fun this morning. I hope you are. It's been a good day. Already it's been a good day. Let's see who's here. Okay. Oh, Kathy Silva was first one in. Hey, Kathy, good to see you. We got Nancy who's here. We've got veteran firefighter. Good to see you. We got TK. TK, haven't seen you in a bit. Good to have you back. Love seeing all you guys here. We got Shinemesis here. We've got Joan Walton. Welcome, welcome, and good morning. We've got Hellhound and Nancy. Good morning, you two. Good to see you. And then we've got Voss. Good to see you, Voss. All right. Oh, A. Walker's here. Good to see you. Oh, and there's my bestie. There's Georgie. Good to see you, Georgie. Georgie, you know you've got the link if you want to jump in. In fact, here, I'll make sure that, a couple of the others, I'll make sure that they've got the link too. I can tell you this, Gavin Newsom, I guarantee he is now regretting what he did with that whole ballot initiative of, if Texas redistrict, then California was going to redistrict. And here's why. If you guys haven't been paying attention, earlier this week, the Supreme Court ruled 63 that the new Texas district redistricting, that it's perfectly legal, and that's going to be the map that's used. Despite that, those two judges at the Fifth Circuit, they were trying to say, "Oh, this is racially done." must have had a date last night. No, I did not. I had little man here last night, and we finished Death by Lightning. Great show, great show. You guys should check it out. And we just hung out here. But yeah, so the Texas map is going forward. California, they did that Prop 50. They're being sued by the DOJ. Now, I think California will be allowed to use that map. I think that the DOJ's case will eventually become unneeded because the Supreme Court, they're suing underneath the Voting Rights Amendment. There's a couple paragraphs where it talks about creating districts, uh, you know, breaking up districts due to race. And that is 100% what California did. They broke up traditionally Hispanic districts. Hey, joining me is C. Hey,
Hey, good morning.
hey, and you're a Californian too, so this applies to you.
Well, I've missed the beginning of your stream, so I apologize for that.
Oh no, you're fine. I'm talking about the redistricting, and how it's now blowing up in Newsom's face.
Oh my gosh, he's such a knucklehead.
So he did this, he did all this because he's anticipating being president in 2028. And he doesn't want a Republican Congress. That's why when Texas said it was redistricting, he did this with California Prop 50. And right now, I think both maps are going to be allowed, California and Texas. But if you guys aren't paying attention, Florida's going to redistrict, Indiana is redistricting, Ohio is redistricting. Indiana and Ohio, there's going to be 2 seats gained right there. North Carolina is redistricting, Missouri is redistricting, and all these other states all came after California said it was going to do what it's going to do. Now there are Democrats out there saying, "Oh, well then we'll redistrict." Okay, where? Where? You've got Maryland, which only has I think 2 Republican districts. So you're not going to be able to get too much out of that. You've got Illinois, which has 3 Republican districts, but it's already gerrymandered the hell out of. You could maybe get one out of Oregon. That's it. That's it. And here's the other thing. If what I'm predicting with the Supreme Court goes through and they throw out that section of the Voting Rights Amendment, what's going to happen is there's going to be more GOP states that redistricting. I'm talking Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, Tennessee. They're all going to redistrict. And I mean, you're looking at possibly a tsunami of like 30 seats taken away from Democrats. So, congratulations, Newsom. You done fucked up.
I think he's possibly relying on his auntie to be able to give him all the money he needs. And maybe
Yeah.
that'll happen, but I just think here in California, we're absolutely sick and tired of him. He's absolutely done nothing in a positive for us.
All he's done is line his own pockets. And he's now trying to advance himself. Hey, Matt, good to see you. Hey, Grammy, good to see you. Colleen, good to see you. Yeah, this state is not better off with him. Yeah, he can get things passed. Like I was here with Schwarzenegger and things just couldn't get done. He can get things done, but they're not good things. And then the things that should be done, like rebuilding the Palisades, not happening. Like they're dragging their feet on it. Alabama and Tennessee are red states whether they redistrict or not. Yes, but there are seats that currently they cannot redistrict out because they are racial districts. And that section of the Voting Rights Amendment says you can't break up racial districts, which California did do that. They broke up Hispanic districts. But there are places like Atlanta and Memphis that could absolutely be redistricted where those would be flips from blue to red.
You know, funny enough, what I see here in San Diego, not all over San Diego, because I only live in a specific place. However, people are just kind of ignorant to the fact that um, migrating folks from Mexico that have come here legally, they are not supporting all these people coming in illegally. They're not about that because they've spent
Yeah.
money, time, effort, and then they've gotten over here and they've done very well for themselves, most of them, but
Hmm.
they're providing for themselves. And then they see these folks come in and they get all this money from the government. And they're like, well, wait a minute. We came through legally and we had to struggle. We're okay now, but this isn't making any sense to them. So they're
Yeah.
not on board with it at all.
You're 100% correct. A lot of Hispanics I know who have lived here for, generations are not happy with the people being allowed to come here. And then California is the worst. I mean, they've just been giving CDLs to people who can't even speak English. And I've talked to a couple people who, had family who went to get driver's licenses who do not speak English as a first language. They got an interpreter, and the interpreter gave them all the answers. Right, yeah, Max does have a live stream, later on today, and the fleas have been attacking him and his channel. They've tried to get him taken down. I think he's so far I know he's appealed, but I think he's so far been okay. You can let us know, Max, but I believe you just had to edit some videos and then repost them.
Hey, Mike, I will have to say that one time I was more shocked than any time was going to the DMV here. I had to go in because I needed to get a new photograph. I was getting that the real ID,
Mhm,
and I was due nevertheless to get my driver's license renewed. So I went in and I'm standing in line. I already made my appointment, but you still got a line with an appointment, which is fine because you got to get a number. And like three people in front of me, this gal walked up and she had someone with her and she started speaking Spanish. And the DMV worker, she looked at her and she said, I don't speak Spanish. And she said, if you don't speak English, you're going to have to go get an interpreter, step out of line and find someone because I don't speak Spanish. And I
mhm.
went, oh, okay. So I appreciate that actually. I don't know whether or not that gal could read English, but that's the thing too with these folks getting their CDL licenses. I mean, I don't know any of the particulars, but I'm pretty sure the majority, at least the billboards, a lot of them are in Spanish, but the majority of all of our signs, if not all of them, are written in English.
Mhm.
So, excuse me, how can you get a CDL license if you're not able to read in English and
Right?
you cannot communicate in English? The policeman should not be forced to have to speak Spanish. Absolutely not.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
totally agree. It's ridiculous. Sorry, I'm editing one of my videos. I've got my college football picks that are coming out later on today. So I'm editing that. But yeah, you're absolutely right. That's a lot of these people, they don't want to assimilate. And even though they're very capable of it, like when it's required for their job, they will learn English. Now, they'll also resist using it. Um, and it's funny you mentioned the San Diego DMV because I was helping a female veteran who got 100%. Okay. Now, here in California, when you get 100% disability for the VA, you qualify for handicap plates. I have mine. She was getting hers. She asked me, "What did you need to do?" And I said, "You have to go to your county. You bring the proof that you're 100% disabled. They will help you fill out the documents you need, and then after you get that, you just go to your DMV. You'll get free plates. I think you might have to pay one fee, but it's like nothing. It's like $20, and then you'll be all set." So she went to her DMV, and they were asking for all this other stuff that had nothing to do or like they wanted like her DD 214. I was like, "Oh, you didn't give it to him." She was like, "Oh, I don't give my DD-214 to anyone." I was like, "Yeah, they." I was like, "You can provide that, but you're not required to." And she was like, "They're telling me it's a requirement." And I told her, I said, uh, go to another DMV." And she went to another DMV, took the exact same things, and they processed it, no problem.
You know, I actually have a placard for my car. I'm not a disabled veteran at all, but it was during a really well, it was after my sister passed away, so extremely stressful, and I developed this skin condition on the bottom of my feet where it would blister up. It was horrific. I'm not gonna go into detail. I think many people have it, we just don't talk about it. So it was really hard, literally, for me to walk from my parking lot at work to my office, and I would actually take off my shoes so I could walk on the side of my feet. So nevertheless, I finally talked to my dermatologist who was treating me, and I said, you know, she saw the bottom of my feet. She used to have to give me shots there. And I said, I just can't make it to my office. And she said, oh, well, here. And so she had this form. She helped me fill it out. She wrote an order or whatever. She had to sign it. It was like a DMV form. And so all I had to do was scan that, send it in with, I think, something else, and boom, I got my placard. You know, and I had a choice to get place or a placard. Now I've had it for, I don't know, I've had it renewed already. I think it's 2, 3 years or whatever, and I've never been questioned again by the DMV. Like, "Do you still have this affliction?" or whatever. So, for me to be able to do it like that and for her to be put through the slots for what she had, that's completely odd to me.
Yeah, and it was frustrating because with hers, it was, we had fought for a long time of trying to get her to 100%, and she ended up being a case like mine where she had legitimate things, she appealed them, and it took well over a year. It took almost 2 years for her. It took 2.5 for me. Uh, and but while that was going on, we were applying for other disabilities, just trying to get her, because I mean, she was close. She was at like 80%. And I did the breakdown of VA math, and I was like, okay, here's what we need to get. And eventually, um, she did get her 100% because the appeal went through, and they actually owed her quite a bit of back pay too. Uh, but yeah, and then to get to go and get something that she did everything right, and then to have the DMV trying to put these roadblocks in, it like people say they support veterans, but I'll tell you, veterans, we go through so much BS. It is unreal. Um, if you
And
guys,
what skin was it off I'm sorry, but
go
what
ahead.
skin off the back of that DMV worker? You know, it didn't have anything to do with them.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah,
why challenge her like that? And then thank gosh she got to another DMV like you suggested, so she could get it taken care of.
yeah,
I'll
and,
do
and
that sometimes if I have to call for customer service and you end up getting someone who's having a really bad day and they're just super crummy. You know, then you politely end the phone call and then you just call right back and then you get somebody that's helpful.
like for me, I got my 100%, and it was an over a year and a half before I got my did all the paperwork for my handicap plates. And A big reason is because while I've got a DMV right here, what I don't have is a county um, veterans uh, office. So I was faced with, I either had to drive down to San Bernardino or drive up to Victorville. So I ended up going up to Victorville, and that's over an hour and 20 minutes away. And I just had to wait until I had a free day to do that. And you know, I'm a capable veteran, but there are older veterans who that would be making that hour and a half drive would be a huge, huge challenge. So it's just a prime example of the roadblocks that they put in veterans' way. Hey, Coop, good to see you here. VA math is ridiculous. You know, it is. And VA math is designed to make the system difficult. Here, you know, ever since, here's one thing you guys don't know, okay? You do realize the history of veteran healthcare has all about is all about people in the government making money and the veterans getting screwed. When the Veterans Administration was still the Veterans Bureau in the 1920s, that was when they vastly expanded and said, "Okay, we have all these Civil War and World War I veterans. We're going to build all these VA hospitals." There was a scandal then on they were giving it to certain contractors. Like it's always been a cash grab to people, to the politicians' friends. Always has. That's why I say when people say, "Oh, Republicans don't care about veterans, Democrats don't care about veterans," neither do. Neither do. I'm just trying to. There we go. If I can center this. VA math sounds like the Common Core math that they have in school. Well, here's how they do it. Okay. Let's say I have a condition that's a 70% condition. They look at me as 70% disabled, 30% not disabled. So if then I go get another 50% condition, that 50% is only applied to the 30%. So 50% of 30% is 15%. Okay. And you take that 15, you add it on to the 70%. So now I'm 85% disabled, but they round up and round down. So now I would be paid at 90%, even though my hard percentage is 85%. And that's how they do that. And it's important for veterans to know that, and a lot don't even know that, because once you know that, you can then figure out what it's going to take for you to move up a disability percentage or to get that 100%. Yeah, because it doesn't work that way, firefighter. Yeah, they do VA math, because yeah, it, and I've had so many Marines who are like, "Oh, I'm gonna get 100% when I get out," and I'm like, "What makes you say that?" "Oh, I've got back and knee issues." Oh, no, you're not. You're gonna get 30%, most likely. Uh,
My company, Gunny, so this was obviously back in the 80s, but he put in 30 years. He's a wonderful man. He's matter of fact, we met up a few times, but nevertheless, his knees were shot, and his knees were predominantly shot, according to him, and I believe him, because of all the 782 gear that he had to hike around with.
right?
He was a grunt. So, yeah, absolutely, and those frickin' boots and all that gear, and they just look at it like, "No, not no." And I thought I was flabbergasted when he told me that. And his back as well, from carrying all that and doing all that humping and stuff. So, yeah, just blew my mind. And then when I was still in civil service, there was a gentleman I met, a young guy. I want to say he was in his, uh, I don't know, early to mid 30s.
Mhm.
And you could not tell he had any kind of physical, there was no obvious physical disability with him. But I'm not a doctor. But he ended up getting 100% disability, 100%. And he worked as well.
Mhm.
He was also civil service. I think he worked in our security department. And when a few people found that out, they were really pissed. And I said, well, it's not for us. I said, nobody gets it really easy.
Thank you, Nini.
So what's what's your problem with it? And he doesn't have to divulge what his disability is. That's private.
Right? There's a lot of veterans who get very upset about other veterans getting their claims through. And honestly, here's the one thing I've found: if you're a veteran or you know a veteran, uh, learning about it. What's the guy? Combat Carl is on YouTube. He has probably the best channel in terms of learning about how the VA operates. But yeah, it's if you go in with the knowledge, you're more likely to get what you are claiming. Uh, hey there, Bingo. Grammy loves. Good to see you guys. Miss Jams, good to see you. Well, is that Susie? And why is she talking about humping? I'm so lost. So, in the military, when we go on a long hike, we call it a hump.
Yeah, part of me, I didn't even think about it because it's just a word that comes easily. So
Yeah, it's
I
part of our
apologize.
vernacular. Susie and I are both Marines, so one quick second.
I didn't even think about that. Thankfully,
Yeah,
this is not a channel for children, so oh
speaking of
Lord.
which, I don't know if you guys ever go up to Vegas, but we need to go up to the Leatherneck Bar.
Oh my gosh, I haven't been to Vegas since last time I went, it was for a concert for Elton John, and it was so great. It was so great. I was so lucky to have gotten tickets, and we had just the best time ever. And if I had a bucket list, he would have been on it for sure. But I haven't been since then, but I always have a blast when I go to Vegas. Always.
Um, I should come down to you guys for the. You know what I want to do at the city council meeting, right?
Oh, no, I don't
Okay.
believe we've talked about that.
So this is something I want to do at some city council, county commissioner, some type of meeting. Okay, and I want to do this for the show. Uh, there are people like Alex Stein who go to these public meetings and give public comment, and he'll just give off the wall crazy stuff, and it's hilarious. Here's what I want to do, especially here in California. I want to go to one of these meetings and show up with devil horns on and just be like, hey, you guys are just doing such an awesome job. Me and the boys down below, we think you guys have taken our work and just expanded upon it. And I've got a whole thing written out that I want to do. But yeah, act as if I'm the devil and I'm very happy with what our California governments are doing.
Oh, don't come here for that. Mitch works really hard. Well, we have a gal, well, we don't have her, but her name is Truth, actually. And her thing is accountability with uh, councils. And she doesn't drive, she takes the bus all over San Diego. And she's a very good, she's not dramatic, she's not pointing fingers or anything like that. She does her research. But the thing I like about Truth is she dresses really goth. She's probably in her late 30s. She's very short, so she's not intimidating, but it's her
How
goth
single
that
is
she
she?
does. Huh?
How single is she?
Oh, she is, and she's absolutely so likable. But she has this jacket, this leather jacket, and on the back of it, it's got like this huge eyeball, this big plastic eyeball. So when she's standing up there and talking at the podium, all you can see is this little tiny person with this giant eyeball on the back of her jacket. So it's like it's creepy. It's creepy, but she's really great, and she'll point out the good, but she'll also point out things that she thinks could have more attention. So, yeah, she's our black card, but she's very intelligent and very well spoken. So, please don't come to the city council meeting with devil horn. Well, I can recommend another you could go to Coronado.
Oh yeah, I would happily go. I just want to find one and just go and just have fun with it. And then I'll take their video, their public video, and put it on this channel.
That would be funny.
Right? Right?
Yeah, that would be very, yeah, that would be worth it. But please don't come here for that. Not this town. We struggle with all this sewer from Mexico, believe me.
Oh
It's
yeah, I did read about that.
oh my gosh. It's you guys, it gets so bad. So I have a CPAP that I've had forever, And so anyone who doesn't understand the CPAP, I'm sure we most do, you got to wear this mask so the air is forced into you so you don't stop breathing. So I've got this mask on. My intake of air goes through this machine, through water, through a hose, and then into my mask. Well, that sewer gets so, oh, and through a filter, is so bad that I will wake up gagging from the smell. I mean, it's like there's a porta potty inside my bedroom. It's horrific. You, I honest to gosh, don't think I can explain it better than that. It's like going into being at a concert on a hot summer day and having to use a porta potty. That's what it's like. And it's not like that every day, but there are literally millions and millions of gallons of sewage and chemicals that wash into our ocean. And the way the currents take it
Mhm.
is from Mexico right up north into us. And now it's finally, well, not finally, but it's really impacting Coronado. So now Coronado is finally on board with helping, and they
So
have way more money than we do.
there, I've read about that, and it is an issue. And this kind of goes back to another issue that many years ago was proposed. For those who don't know, the San Diego airport is right next to downtown, and it's like right there, and it gets a lot of traffic. And there's been a lot of talk about moving it, but the problem is San Diego doesn't have anywhere to move it to because there's mountains. And one thing they want to do is they want to build a platform out in the bay as a runway because that's what takes up the most space of a uh, airport. What I would do, because they're having these problems, is just go on Coronado Island and then like build a peninsula out there for and just move the San Diego airport to a little bit further south. But if you build that, it's going to prevent those currents from bringing that sewage up to the northern reaches of North County.
Yeah, that's well. Plus, there's more of North Island Naval Air Station than there is of Coronado. I
Mhm.
mean, they're physically attached to
Oh
one
yeah.
another, but oh my gosh, yeah, that would be good. But I will tell you this on that sewage thing. In 20, I want to say it was maybe 2017, I got spinal meningitis.
Mhm.
Now, there was no outbreaks of spinal meningitis, but I got it, and it was horrific. Now, I did have like a small, um, like it was a blister. My feet were still healing, and there was just one little blister left. And I went for a beach walk with Mitch, and we didn't go into the water, but the water washes up on the sand. So all
Yeah.
that literal crap is still there. I didn't even think about it. And yeah, I ended up with spinal meningitis. I was in the hospital for 12 days, actually in a quarantine room. And when the nurses would come in, they're all like dressed down with their, their coats and
Mhm.
their protection, so they don't get it because it's very easily distributed through the air. So, nevertheless, yeah, there's been a couple articles written about it, but
Yeah,
it's
I've read. Um,
that's the worst thing, you guys. That pain is excruciating.
so
Yeah.
Jeremy Hales, I just got notification he posted this,
Ooh,
which
lovely.
these are the mugshots, and he says more new mugshots will be added soon. So we have Pile of Guano, Gabe, Dodgy Ravi, Crook, Paint Chips, and Stupid Dave. So I wonder if something went down. I don't know if Jeremy's in the chat today, if he has anything he'd like to let us know about, or if he's going to save it for his channel. I got no problem with that too.
Wow, Stupid Date was actually like a normal looking person for the most part in his mugshot, or he had the best mugshot. I'm not sure how to approach that.
Uh, I had to laugh. Gabe told Lisa to calm down the other day. I'm like, wow, the cocaine addict is telling other people, hey, you're a bit much for me. Can you bring it down? Honolulu International Airport made a man-made runway to expand the airport. Yeah, and California could do that, especially for like California always wants to do things for animals. You could just build a couple islands and make them preserves. Like you have that ability. Uh, but yeah, they're like, oh, we can't do stuff like that.
Look, you got that big gosh darn bridge from Coronado into San Diego.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can build stuff. You absolutely can. You absolutely can. Let's take some money from that bullet train to nowhere that
Right?
Gavin Newsom's so proud of. I don't even know how many billions, literally, that they've spent on that so
I
far.
believe it's 14 billion.
Oh, it's a train to nowhere, you guys,
Yeah.
literally,
It's going to go,
literally.
once they finish the first section, it's going to go from Barstow to Merced. So all the people in Barstow who want to go to Merced and all the people in Merced who want to go to Barstow are going to be, or I'm sorry, Bakersfield.
Oh,
So all the
Lord.
people who want to go back and forth between those two are going to be great. They're going to be able to get there, no problem. The problem is no one in those two areas want to go to the other area.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing to be had.
And they were like,
Absolutely
oh,
nothing.
well, after we get this, the money that we get from the ridership will help pay off the rest. No, it's not. Now, on the flip side, there is a bullet train being built between Victorville and Las Vegas. That is going to be packed. That will pay for itself.
Plus, it's very convenient for the federal prison. Once
Mhm.
the folks get out of prison, they can just zoom right out of there because
Yep.
there's some federal prisons in Victorville.
And even Rancho Cucamonga has they want a connection to it. Now, it might not be a bullet train connection, but they want to be connected to it. And they've already dedicated money. And I think that it's like, yeah, they're gonna Rancho Cucamonga is gonna make money off that deal. Um, Bakersfield, no. It's gonna that bullet train is gonna cost them money.
Yeah, and there will be no money left over.
Yeah.
Absolutely
And
not. Well, I mean, there's no money right now
yeah,
for
and then we'll
to
be we
add to
need
the
to save
14
it.
billion.
Yep. Yep. Hey, Sarasota Beach Bum, good to see you. Magic Angel, good to see you. Harry Day, good to see you. If I missed anyone, let me know. I'm trying to catch you guys. Good morning. Um, yeah, I fell
So
down this
many
morning.
goons and Kool-Aid kids on here. That's so awesome.
It's me. Yes, I think you need to blame Trump because that's what everyone does. Climate change, I think I've noticed in the last year, climate change they're backing away from, and I think it's because we've had it for so many years and we haven't seen anything that yeah, they're just gonna be like, yeah, we're backing away.
Well, that's just like for us, the whole sea level rise. It's like they
Right?
started to try a panic because where I live right now, it our city is right at the ocean. So for me, from my house, it's like a mile from, how the crow flies to get to
Mhm.
the ocean. And so they're trying to tell people that, I mean, there are so many businesses and houses and condos that are right at the beach. And so they're trying to say, oh, you're going to have to all move because, you know, uh, the sea's coming. The sea's coming. And you're like, what?
Vet firefighter, the train is not even it's only proposed to Sacramento. It's not going to Sacramento. That is like phase 5. That's how stupid it is. If it went to Sacramento, I would probably be like, yeah, that makes sense because it's the capital. So you'll get all the people from down here. Oh, do I fly or do I just drive up to Bakersfield and then take that. That would make sense, but nothing about that project makes sense. Now, I used to live down in Palm Springs area, and talking about the sea level rise. If the sea were to rise half a meter, the Baja, the uh, what's it the what's the body of water there? Um, damn it, what's the name? The bay that
Oh
would
my gosh, yeah.
that would then connect to the Salton Sea, and like a lot of Imperial County would be underwater. Um, like Mexicali and Calexico would be underwater, but that would connect to the Salton Sea. Do you see anyone buying land at the Salton Sea? The only people are the ones who want to lithium mine it. Either blame either Trump or Jeremy. Oh,
Yeah.
I plead the fifth.
that was pretty funny yesterday. Yeah. Her attorney was there the whole time. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. Like, and we all knew they were going to try for a continuance. Everything they're about is delays, but I think the judge only begrudgingly did this continuance. Um, I had to laugh that Jeremy was like, "Oh, I'm free next week." Yeah, yeah. A lot of these courts, they're so busy. Yeah, you ain't getting in next week.
I think also, just from my own personal perspective, and I'm not, you know, privy to a lot of stuff. However, I can see if he did act professional. Okay, so he wasn't professional as in not showing up on time, but as Jeremy explained, he was very professional. He probably obviously was not told what he needed to be told. And I think what did they raise $6,000 for him?
Yeah,
Like Jeremy said, 3 grand of that is absolutely gone. And the leftover 3 grand is not going to cover his time
I
going
like
over
money.
all of the evidence. There's absolutely no way.
yeah, yeah.
Absolutely no way. So
And
they're going to have to raise more money or he'll just walk away.
you know damn well that 1 o'clock time frame that came from John Lynette. They were screwed up.
That's probably because he wasn't sick. He was skipping school.
But yeah, what I will laugh about, you're gonna hear all Lynette and Lisa and all them. You're gonna hear them talking a bunch of smack, and the Sea of Cortez. That's what it used to be called, and that's what it should be called, in my opinion. But yeah, with those two, or with all these people involved, they're gonna say, "Oh yeah, yeah, Jeremy's not going to get a CPO and everything." And I guarantee you, the lawyer, after he reads up on everything, is going to be like, "Hey, we're not going to contest the CPO. We're just going to try to keep the contempt of court penalties low, guaranteed, guaranteed." I have a gut feeling LP's lawyer will file the leave the case before January 23rd. I think he'll try, but if I were Jeremy's if I were Jeremy's attorney, I would object, and here's why. Because you want to get this done. And she's already had one lawyer that she hired that left the case be like, "Look, all this does is cause more delays. Like it's faster to keep him on the case and just do it." And then she's going to owe him money. And there'll be a new creditor in bankruptcy.
Hey, Mike, I have to bounce out, but I really appreciate you inviting me to come
Yeah.
and chit chat.
I wanna do an interview with you, like a proper interview. Maybe we'll record it, but let me know.
Okay.
Well, thank you for joining me. I do appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. And it was wonderful seeing everyone. And I apologize for not saying hello. So, hello. And I'll see you all later. Thanks again, Mike.
Inconceivable!
Have a good one.
Bye.
Thank you to Susie for joining me today. I like being able to do shows where people can pop in. I do like that. Let's see. What else do we want to discuss today? So people were saying that JD Vance is getting divorced. Here, let me put up. This is from the USA Today. Sorry, guys. That one came up quick. Vice President JD Vance is swatting away marital rift rumors with Second Lady Usha Vance after rampant online speculation in recent weeks. Vance told NBC News in an interview, "I think that we kind of get a kick out of it," after he was asked about frustration over media coverage of Second Lady being photographed without her wedding ring. A spokesman for the Second Lady told USA Today in a statement that she is a mother of 3 young children who does a lot of dishes, gives a lot of baths, forgets her ring sometimes. Vances have 3 children, Ellen, Vivek, and Mirabelle. Let's see here. Well, I do want to fix that. There we go. Put that back over there. There we go. Vice President said, "It's funny. I actually don't think it's tough." When addressing the headlines, Vance also said, days after leaving her wedding ring behind, his spouse accidentally did so once again after a shower. I used to do that when I was married. I used to take my ring off in the shower. Not a big deal. I also had to take it off for a lot of the training that I was doing in the military. And I did have my ex question me, like, "Why are you taking this off during training?" And it's because when you're doing obstacles, which this darn thing, when you're doing obstacles and you put your arm on, it can get caught on the wood. And I was actually, when I was in TBS, Chief Warrant Officer class ahead of us had his caught, and it pulled his finger off. I believe he got it reattached, but yeah, it caught and popped it right off. So yeah, there are things you can do. I don't recommend doing the tattoo on. A buddy of mine has that, and he's going through a divorce. I'm like, but you regret that tattoo, don't you? I think most tattoos are just stupid and retarded. Harvard professor agrees to leave country after pellet gun arrest. Okay. Massachusetts gun laws are ridiculous. You do realize Massachusetts, that's where the Citano decision came about. And it's a fundamental gun case that did not involve guns at all. It involved a stun gun, and it involved a woman who had a crazy ex. They broke up. He stalked her. She had a restraining order, and no one in the system was doing anything. And so she had this restraining order. So then she got a stun gun. He came to her place of work. She, if I remember correctly, she did use the stun gun. They arrested her, and she took it all the way up to the Supreme Court. And I believe that was 2016. And she finally, because arms under the Second Amendment don't specifically apply to guns. It's any type of thing that can be used offensively or defensively. So yeah, that's a big gun decision, even though it's not about guns. Yep, my husband had to take his ring off working on electric. Oh yeah, I've heard of guys getting shocked and burning their finger off. A Brazilian academic serving as a visiting professor at Harvard Law School was arrested by U.S. immigration authorities and charged with firing a pellet gun outside a Massachusetts synagogue the day before Yom Kippur. Why would you be firing a pellet gun? What? Carlos Portugal Gouveia, an associate professor at Sao Paulo Law School, taught at Harvard for the fall semester, was taken into custody on December 3rd and agreed to leave the country rather than face deportation. The U.S. State Department revoked his temporary non-immigrant visa after what the Trump administration described as an anti-Semitic shooting incident. Oh, the local authorities have painted a different picture. Do not mess with houses of worship or call people of faith in this country, Harmeet K. Dillon, Civil Rights Division chief, said on social media. Can I just say what a great job Harmeet is doing? I really wish, like, I'm glad she's where she's at, but if Pam Bondi leaves, Harmeet should be the next attorney general. And here's the other thing, because for this civil rights division, she needed to be approved by the Senate. If Pam Bondi leaves, he can just say, "Hey, Harmeet, move right in." She does not need to be nominated, or what I say, confirmed again. The Senate has already confirmed her. That's one thing that people I see make the mistake of. When someone leaves and the president's taking from one department to move to the other, they don't have to be reconfirmed. They've been confirmed once. The Senate gave it the ominous dominus. They can now move throughout the administration, as long as they go from position where a nomination approval was given by the Senate, as long as they go from one to the other. Now, I believe if they go to one where it doesn't need presidential approval or Senate confirmation, like say White House counsel, then she would need to come back and get reconfirmed. Sorry, I'm just reading the things. He was arrested in Brookline, Massachusetts, got a report of a person with a gun near Temple Beth Zion on the eve of the Jewish holiday. Gouveia told police he was hunting rats in the area. Temple leaders said the incident did not seem to be a case of anti-Semitism, a characterization backed by Brookline police who conducted the investigation. The university newspaper Synagogue Leadership informed congregants in the area that Gouveia told police he was unaware that he lived next to and was shooting his BB gun next to a synagogue, or that it was a religious holiday. Okay. You got to be careful with that. First off, you're shooting animals, even if they're pests and rodents. You might need a hunting license. Also, he could have been potentially charged with animal cruelty. He agreed to pay $300 restitution. I thought he was shooting Jews, just based upon the way that they said it. Doesn't appear to be that, but you know. Also, I could see officials in Massachusetts. Yeah, what does he mean by rats? Yeah, I could see officials in Massachusetts also trying to clean that up. Sorry, guys. Charlie Sheen owes millions in child support, X alleges. Kyle Richards weighs in on dating rumors. Who the fuck cares about it? Isn't that woman like 60? What do you think about the court flop on LP and JC? Oh, we were talking about that, Matt. They always wanted a continuance. They just want a delay. They got a continuance. Will they get another one? I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. I've seen things about this Jay Kelly movie, and even what I watched, I still don't understand it. I did see a thing. There's a guy I watch on YouTube, and it's funny because him and Tug are friends. So I started to nerd out a little bit when Tug told me he used to do stuff with him, and he goes as Yellow Flash. And Grace Randolph is this YouTuber who She is such an annoying fucking shill, and she reviews movies, and she was complaining about the Avengers Doomsday movie, which I think it's gonna lose money. They've got too much wrapped up into it, and honestly, there's not enough that's enticed me, which is bullshit because I love Doctor Doom. He's a great villain, and they haven't used him. They even in the Fantastic Four movie, they didn't like. They could do a whole Doctor Doom movie. Okay, he's like the greatest villain in Marvel. Okay, and Marvel's known for good heroes, not good villains. DC is known for good villains, not good heroes. Um, other than Batman, Batman is, I think, the greatest hero in DC, and there's a reason why Batman is so successful. But she was complaining about that there's not enough women in Doomsday, and it's like, have you not looked at the Marvel things? They did that. They replaced all the top guys that everyone loved. They replaced them all with women, uh, or black. Because now Falcon is now Captain Falcon, which is stupid. Um, so yeah, they did this replacement, and they called it, Nerdrotic called it the MCU, and everyone took off with that. And the thing is, it was a failure. Like, she was complaining that She-Hulk's not in. Like, the woman who played She-Hulk sucked. Okay, that show sucked. She sucked. All she's doing is bashing Disney now. It's like, yeah, she's not going to be brought back. And all the women, they like Black Widow was a great character, but Scarlett Johansson doesn't want to play her. So rather than, you know, just wait until they do a soft reboot with Secret Wars, they're pushing Yelena, which is a character that no one gives a shit about. Like, no one she's not, like, yeah, she was in the comics, but not someone that anyone cares about in the comics. Um I'm trying to think who else. Like, Wanda is, well, presumed dead. I'm sure they're gonna bring it back. But they're not even like this is gonna be an X-Men versus Avengers movie, and they're bringing back a lot of the old X-Men, but they're not bringing back Holly Berry as Storm. Why? They're not bringing back what's her name as as Rogue. Like, there are great female characters. They're just not using them. I would absolutely I would have um Captain Marvel in it and have Rogue touch her and put her in a coma. So that, because Captain Marvel is way too overpowered in the Marvel movies. So if you do that, she can come back less powerful. The ball's in their court. It's speculation whether their lawyer will be there next month. Also, he'll be there. He will be there. I don't see the judge letting him off the hook. The judge is going to be like, look, no, you took this case. You need to power through. Like, and she would probably say they already had one lawyer. So I'm not going to let, in this case, another lawyer be, uh, another lawyer be done. Michael Jordan testified in that trial. Don't care. Not a big deal for me. Not the time to test the airport theory of when to arrive for a flight. Oh, yeah. Let's look at entertainment. Do they have anything good here? Sydney Sweeney defends tone deaf American Eagle. American Eagle made money. Okay. In fact, American Eagle is expanding their marketing because they made money. So you can complain that it's tone deaf all you want, but it's selling jeans. Like, no one cares about your stupid fucking outrage. I don't care about George Clooney at all. Not at all. He's boring. Olivia Newsy to leave. Vanity Fair. Okay. Vanity Fair sucks as a publication. National Parks get free entry on Trump's birthday. Okay. Arizona Congresswoman says she was pepper sprayed during ICE protest. Is this okay? I saw a video. I think this was her. It was a big old fat bitch who was protesting. Alita Grijalva said she was pepper sprayed December 5th during a protest responding to an immigration raid in Tucson. Okay, so yesterday. Those recorded proceedings have already been submitted to the Ohio judge. Looks like someone might be headed to jail next month. Yeah, could be. Jay really wants police at depot, so he's letting all these leaks slide. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and she has talked about court documents that she's seen. So yeah, I think the judge is going to want to talk about that. Protesters had assembled near Taco Giro, a Mexican restaurant that U.S. immigration had raided earlier that day. Grijalva, a progressive Democrat, vocal critic of President Donald Trump's immigration policy, was in the area at the time of the protest. Videos by local television affiliates showed protesters carrying signs, critical of ICE, yelling at the officers. She can be seen walking towards the officers, speaking with the officers, and coughing. In another video she posts online, a cloud of smoke can be seen bursting near the Congresswoman's feet while she walked toward an officer. Protesters can be heard yelling in the background. Well, yeah, you're at a protest. You know what? When you go to a protest, you should expect that there could be some crowd control measures used. When I presented myself as a member of Congress asking for more information, I was pushed aside and pepper sprayed. Yeah, because you're at a protest, you dumb bitch. Like, if you want to talk with them, you literally go through the channels. You contact Homeland Security. Homeland Security pushes it down. That's how this stuff works. If you're doing a VIP visit, the delays as usual could help JH build a case. Oh yeah, but he's got them on multiple counts of what am I saying? Contempt of court. So yeah. And the Ohio court does not play. If they haven't figured that out, the Ohio court is not playing around with their schemes. Trump bid to take over independent agencies. Okay. This one I want to talk about. Trump wants the High Court to overturn 1935 decision limiting president's ability to remove leaders of administration. Yes, and that should be the case. There is no such thing as an independent agency in our Constitution. You either report to the judiciary, the legislature, or the executive. That is how it works. No one is independent. No. Trump wants the court to overturn 1935 decision limiting president's ability to remove leaders of multi-member administrative agencies that include the Federal Reserve and the Federal Trade Commission. Yes, that should be the case. If it's an executive agency doing executive stuff, it should be 100% subservient to the president, the elected leader. An elected or a non-elected bureaucrat should not be able to refuse when the president tells them, "I need you to step aside." Should not be allowed. That's why we have elections. Does California have laws about the use of non-legal weapons at protests? Well, they do because they'd be non-legal. Now, is there what I'll say? Things that that make it worse if it's at a protest. I don't know about that, but I don't know if AVA's here, but he experienced they were telling him his signs could only be a certain size and he could only go certain places with them. Now, here's the thing. The First Amendment is subject to time, place, and manner restrictions. Absolutely. But a sign size, that could be ripe worth a challenge, but also you have to be willing to go through that challenge. And I understand why AVA, he can't work. So I understand why he would not want to take up that challenge because these legal things get very expensive. Tear gas, rubber balls, etc. Um, if you're talking about ICE using them, no, there's not going to be any limit on them. They're law enforcement. They are law enforcement. They're allowed to, if it's within their agency policy, they're allowed to use it. California can pass laws, but those only apply to California agencies. The federal laws and agencies trump your state agencies. They do. Now, and that's why I was, earlier this year I said, look, federal authorities can charge for your local crimes. Like they can enforce state law. Do they? No, most times they'll do the arrest and then hand it over to state, but they can make an arrest on a state law, take it into federal court, and the federal judge can make the decisions. They're still bound by the state laws and state rules regarding those laws. But yeah, it can happen. Protesters are suing the police. Okay, so that's a civil lawsuit, and I'll tell you what's going to happen with that. All the police and the agency are going to claim qualified immunity, and that'll be upheld because they have to knowingly and willfully violate civil rights. Now, if you're a protester and you got hit with a beanbag, that's not a violation of your civil rights. It's not. Because, again, protests have time, place, and manner restrictions. You'd have to show that they were specifically doing it to silence you. And that's why there's a continuum of force. Because if the crowd escalates, the law enforcement agency is going to then match it with certain things. So you'd have to show that, like, hey, we were standing around, we were praying, no one was, throwing rocks or anything like that. The moment one person does, those police can say, hey, it was escalating and we took these things, and they can tell a crowd to disperse, and they can do things, if the crowd is going above and beyond or moving outside of the First Amendment. So I'd have to look at the specific cases and if there's videos and stuff like that attached to it, but by and large, those are all going to be thrown out. The justice could at least allow Trump to control the Federal Trade Commission, which enforces a variety of antitrust consumer protection laws. Yeah, that's going to happen. Many other agencies could be affected. Yeah, there's no such thing as an independent agency in our government. What Trump should do, okay? What Trump should do is start using things more to his abilities. So they just stopped the penny, okay? Now, what Trump could do is tell the FTC, because the the Federal Reserve, they're refusing to lower rates. Like they lower them by a little bit. What we really need is rates lowered by at least a point. That is what's holding up everything with our economy. It is our interest rates. They need to be lowered. And I've been saying that for well over a year. They're slowly lowering them because they don't like Trump. The reserve chairman doesn't like Trump and doesn't want Trump to succeed, which is stupid. What they should have done is said, okay, yeah, this year we're going to lower it by 2 percentage points. Let the economy do well, and then hope that the economy stagnates and maybe even raise rates, because then it would affect Trump in an election year. But what's going to happen is the economy is still very strong. There are some problems with it, but it's all because they will not lower rates. So what that's going to cause is people do other stuff. What Trump should do, see, Trump can mint coins. He can mint coins and tell the Federal Reserve, hey, stop making $1 and $5 bills, because we're now going to take that on and start printing more $1 coins and $5 coins. Because the Treasury has the ability to mint. The Federal Reserve has the ability to print money. And it used to be, you ever heard in your history classes, the greenbacks? The greenbacks were dollars, but it was each bank printed its own notes. And what happened was the Federal Reserve is all the banks got together and said, okay, we're going to use one note. And if you want to be a part of the FDIC, that insurance plan, you have to use the Federal Reserve note. You can't, as a bank, you can't print your own money, or you'll be on the outside looking in. And there's also other laws that do affect that. But yeah, Trump should tell the FTC, look, I'm taking you out of this business. He could do that. He could do that. The U.S. government also sells bonds. So he should say, you know what? Yeah, we're going to go back and I'm going to start doing more things with T-bills. He could absolutely do that to try to undermine the Federal Reserve. And I think he should do that, especially with the tariff money. Trump has been pulling in a lot of money with tariff money. After taking office, Trump declared that all federal agencies are under his control. Yes, they are and should be. He fired 2 Democratic members of the 5-member FTC, relying on the Supreme Court's 1935 decision in Humphrey's Executor. Lower courts said Trump can only remove FTC members for wrongdoing, which Trump hasn't alleged. Courts made similar rulings about the firing of Democratic members from the Consumer Product Safety Commission and from 2 federal labor boards. Yeah, the Merit Protection Board, and I forget what the other one is. Oh, not this consumer board. That's the Consumer Product Safety Commission. There's another consumer board. But the Supreme Court intervened, allowing those firings to proceed as they're being challenged. The court also agreed to decide an expedited basis whether the removal protections Congress called for the FTC commissioners are consistent with the Constitution's division of authority among the 3 branches of government. That is correct. They are not. So I expect Humphrey's Executor, I expect it to be tossed out. The other one is Trump is getting rid of birthright citizenship. That one, I don't know if he's going to be as successful. He's got a good argument, a very strong argument. Will it be successful? I don't know. So that'll be up to, and it is going to be heard by the Supreme Court. So we'll see. All right, guys, that's a lot of the stuff I wanted to talk about, and I've been already streaming for an hour, so I'm going to get going. I'm going to go watch some of these football games. Thank you so much for being here, and as always, thank you for being worth serving. If I can get my mouse over there.
Coffee brewing as the sun peeks through the haze. Birds are chirping, serenading morning's praise. Front porch creaks as dreams fade away. America's awakened to a brand new day. Old vinyl spinning a sweet old tune. Day starts dancing under a sleeping moon. Loose print smudges on fingers of grace. America's awakening at her own steady pace. Sips of sunshine in a coffee cup. Simple moments lifting spirits up. From the mountains to the sandy shore. Morning in America, on just a little more. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Old vinyl spinning a sweet old tune. Day starts dancing under a sleeping moon. Newsprint smudges on fingers of grace. America's awakened at her own steady pace. Sips of sunshine in a coffee cup. Simple moments lifting spirits up. From the mountains to the sandy shore, morning in America on just a little more. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise, kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awaking with a heart full of shine. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise, kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awaking with a heart full of shine. Tractors rumble, fields coming alive, big wheels turning where hopes and dreams strive. Laughter echoes down the old dirt road. America's awaking to lighten her load. America's awaking to lighten her load.